welcome back to Taiwan Talk on ICRT FM 100. I'm Ryan Drillsma, and this week we continue our series Renewable Energy and Taiwan in cooperation with the European Chamber of Commerce Taiwan and its Low Carbon Initiative. We're discussing hydropower, and I talked to James Chien, who is the Deputy Director of the Department of Energy at Taipower, Taiwan's state-run energy enterprise. Hydroelectricity accounts for the largest proportion of Taiwan's total renewable energy capacity, although the country's hydropower capacity has not increased significantly over the past 10 years. I talked to James about why this is and the future of hydropower in Taiwan. Hello, James, and welcome to the podcast. My first question for you is, what kinds of hydropower exist in Taiwan, and how much electricity does hydropower generate?
In Taiwan, we have two kinds of hydropower stations. Run-of-the-river and the pump storage. In 2020, run-of-the-river type generated about 30 billion kilowatt hours. Pump storage type generated about 31 billion.
Pump storage hydroplants utilize two reservoirs at different elevations and generate power as water moves through turbines. Excess energy is used to pump water back from the lower reservoir to the upper one. Run-of-the-river, however, usually has little to no water storage and is subject to seasonal river flows. I asked James what the benefits are of hydropower over other renewable energy sources.
I think hydropower is so reliable. Hydropower plant can actually adjust the output by adjusting the amount of water. This allows the plant to produce more energy when the power system is required, or reduce the energy output when it is not needed. This is something that no other renewable energy source can do. And another type of pump storage type of hydropower can storage excess power and can release storage power when needed.
Are there any drawbacks of hydropower?
I think it's three drawbacks of the hydropower. One is high initial construction cost, and climate affect power generation and flood risk. Higher initial construction cost. While no power plant is easy to build, hydropower plants do require you to build a dam to stop running water, and need to build a channel or tunnel to carry water. As a result, they cost more than similar-sized fossil fuel plants. Although we will not need to worry about purchasing the fuel later on, so it does even out over the long term. And the climate affect power generation, like the drought, reduce the power generation. And the flood risk is when dams are built at higher elevations, they pose a serious risk to any town nearby that is below it. Where these dams are built very strong, there are still risks.
Taiwan experienced record droughts this year, its worst in 56 years. Many reservoirs fell below 10% capacity, and levels at the Baoshan reservoirs that supply the Hsinchu Science Park, where Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing is located, fell extremely low. Luckily, after some heavy downpours over the past couple of months, most have been replenished. But I asked James how the droughts impacted hydropower this year.
I think in 2020, hydropower generated about 61 billion kilowatt hours, but in 2019, hydropower generated about 87 billion kilowatt hours. So the drought last year let hydropower generate electricity 30% less. Due to the acquisitions of the statistical data, the power generated statistic from January to June 2021 decreased 23% compared with the same period last year.
Taking this into mind, I wanted to know if adaptations or new developments could be made so that hydropower plants can still function and maintain similar power output rates when there is less water.
We can't change the reduction in water use for power generation due to the drought, but we will ensure sufficient water for power generation. Hydropower plants have been restricted in their power generation head, depend on the dam and the power station's elevations and the power generation water volume at the earlier stage of construction. Although the efficiency of water turbine can be improved to reduce the water use for power generation, but the water turbine we used now is a mature product, and it is not a good investment to replace a new one. At present, TPC keeps the period maintenance to keep the original design efficiency. and the water resource we have been fully utilized.
Although the government has set ambitious targets for the expansion of solar and wind power, Taiwan's hydropower capacity hasn't increased much over the past 10 years. I asked James why.
Because in Taiwan are fewer and fewer places to build a large-scale hydropower, so Taipower is now being developed small hydropower plant. Now we have 10 power plants currently under construction. Next year later, small hydropower plant will gradually operating. They will expand hydropower capacity about 25,619 kilowatts.
After speaking to James, I wanted to know more about the future of hydropower in Taiwan and if it would be possible for the government to dramatically increase Taiwan's hydropower output. I called up Professor Suen Jian-ping of National Cheng University's Hydraulic Engineering Department. I asked if climate change and drought were the reasons there's been less policy directed towards increasing hydropower than solar and wind energy.
Not exactly, because the hydropower need to have enough the site. I mean, because we need to store water in the reservoirs, and so far it's very difficult to build new reservoir for the hydropower generations. So we only can rely on what we have the capacity, the reservoir capacity for generating electricity.
Do you feel that Taiwan's used most of the capacity that it has for generating hydropower?
Yes, I guess so, because it's almost impossible to build a big reservoir for generating hydropower. So I know there's some projects that rely on smaller hydropower, not like the reservoir, but smaller units to generating electricity. But compared to other sources, I guess it's not. The total percentages for we need to have the electricity capacity is not so high.
That was Professor Suen Jian-ping of National Cheng University. And earlier you heard me speak to James Chien, Deputy Director of Taipower's Department of Generation. I'm Ryan Drilsma, and don't forget to catch us next week for an all-new episode of Taiwan Talk.